Hey everyone, hell to the fellowship. We thank you guys for tuning in. I am your nerdy normal reviewer, the Elven Barber, and joining me as always is the Lord Loyalist himself, TC, the Token Cripple,
Hey, how you doing?
and we are those guys. So, sir, before we get started, side note, I want to deviate just a little. I was online today and I saw that your boy Don Lemonless was nominated for a Critics' Choice Award, and you can thank the Elven Barber for that fresh ass fade that he had for the entire season of Rings of Power. Thank you. Thank you. If I had an applause thing, I would do it, but you clap for me. So I just wanted to toot my own fucking horn. I wanted to toot my own fucking horn quick that he was nominated. And he's a man of color, so he's gonna win, obviously. So yeah, sorry about that. Just had to get that out of the way.
But they didn't nominate any cripples, therefore they were biased and ableist. So.
Yeah, they're bigots. They're all just bigots. All right, I guess I won't delay this episode of the Winchesters mid season finale too. Mid season finale.
Really didn't feel like it.
It really didn't. It really did. It was so bad. It really didn't feel like that at all. In fact, I honestly didn't know it was going to be mid-season until I saw an article stating that it was. And I was like, what? Like, this is where they're leaving it? Show shit.
Actually, Barbara, you've got it wrong. It's not the mid-season finale, it's the mid-series finale.
Right.
Because they aren't renewing it for season 2.
I stand corrected. Oh man, good call. So, speaking of this show, what were your thoughts on this episode?
Let's see. It was, but they've all been boring. There were a lot of feelings in hallways and feelings in bunkers.
Oh yeah.
And feelings in clubhouses.
Everyone was in their feels. Yeah.
My mom just said they did more talking about their feelings than trying to save the world.
I mean, those are accurate. That's facts.
It's true.
Yeah, these are facts. I cannot refute that observation. Yeah, felt the same way. A lot of feelings, a lot of talking, not a lot of urgency. I'm like, come on, like we got to get going here.
The thing is, they literally had a ticking clock because the Akrita had Samuel. They had Samuel,
right?
And they said, "Come to this location by 10 o'clock or you're SOL." And yet they still have to wax poetic about the freaking music box that John had because of a magical spell about emotional connection. When it's like, okay, all we need to know is that it will work. We don't need to know its backstory to know some emotional connection. Just say, this matters. Do your shit and get moving.
Like let's not dive into exposition here. Like let's we got some things to do. Oh man. I guess it starts off with John and Mary. They're like at the hideout. See, okay. So the thing about this episode, I got lost a lot. Like there was a lot, and I can tell they thought they were clever with some aspects of the episode as well. But you'll have to educate. Yeah, me either. You'll have to educate me though. So there were like scenes where they were at the radio station, but then the Akrita lady wasn't there. But then it would shift to a different location where these people were like working in a mine, it seemed like, or some type of like.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if they were a creator or if they were like slaves until like they actually found whatever it was they were looking for, which still isn't clear.
I was gonna say, was that ever clear what they were looking for? Okay, it did, but they definitely wanted the soul. Yeah, I must have missed it as well. All I do know is they wanted that demon catching box or whatever the hell that thing was. I do know they wanted that, right? Like, was that a plot point?
Yeah. Yeah, yes, they did. That was their big thing. You give us the box,
and you get,
and we'll take, and you get Samuel,
right?
But Mary goes, can it hurt you, or it can, it can kill you, and she goes, nothing can kill little old me, and then Mary goes, well, why do you want it? And I'm like, speaking as a layman myself, even if it doesn't kill them, it teleports them to God knows where.
Right.
So I would just say, so no one can use it against me. It's not rocket science, Mary. Like, trying to be smart, but you're really not. So.
Well, she is the what is it? The girl boss of the series. So.
Ever. Yes.
God. So I feel like half the episode was
before the
just
fight
them.
Scene, with my mother. Yeah, it was just them feelings and talk. I would pause it for Mom, and during the fight, right before the fight scene, I'm like, John and Mary are fighting, but because it's current year, he is white, straight, and male, therefore he is incompetent, and she will just run through them. Damned if I wasn't right.
Accurate on all accounts.
They made a point of saying you have till 10 o'clock, and they had to do this seance bullshit spell
to summon
Henry.
Right, because the notes he had,
the notes he had were, the thing is, shorthand and code are not the same thing. They treated it like it was. It's like
they definitely treated it like it was.
Shorthand is literally, here's the word. This is a shorter version of the same word. Code is, you actually need a cipher. And the thing is, they use the phrases interchangeably for some reason. And I'm like, it's either shorthand or it's code. They aren't the same thing.
Well, this is the CW.
Reminds me of All-Star Superman. Yeah, they think they're much cleverer than they are. They called the bunker the clubhouse again.
Oh yeah, because God, I hate that so much. So much.
I bring it up every episode because it annoys me that much.
Yeah, I feel like the entire episode was feelings and trying to figure out how the demon soul catching box works. Like that was like the entire episode.
And they keep talking about monster essence from Unicorn Monsters, which is a stupid ass name too.
Such a stupid fucking name. I don't know who's making up these names for these things, but you're fired. Like these things, like unicorn. What is it? Unicorn essence, as they were calling it.
Yeah, unicorn essences or whatever. Also, they keep using the phrase essence and talking about it like it's a meaningful phrase, but literally it has, to the best of my recollection, never been a thing prior to this show. Like it was never mentioned in Supernatural. So they keep talking about it like, oh, essence, essence, essence. And then Carlos later comes in and goes, well, I've never seen S before, but if I had to guess what it was, it's that. So I'm like, you literally didn't know what you were looking for that. So why are you acting like you do? You
fucking Carlos. They tried to make him so clever this episode too. I can't stand him either. Like the more and more he's on screen, the more and more I get so annoyed.
Also, they made a point of saying his family or whatever was killed by ghouls. In OG Supernatural, ghouls don't hunt humans. They eat corpses from graveyards. So
what you're saying is they got the lore correct, is what you're saying. What you're saying is they're not breaking canon at all. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Barber, there's a reason I'm called the lore loyalist. Just saying.
Hey, I know this. All right. I know this. Yeah, this another embarrassing episode. And you know what? Even the part where John's dad was present and they had that little moment, like I could tell they like wanted us to like feel something in that scene.
I literally went like this. I go, "You're not dead."
Yeah. I didn't feel a goddamn thing. I was like, what? I'm like, this is so cringe right now. Like, what is going on? You're not dead, sir. Where are you being astral projected? Because this is crazy.
I literally went to throttle my TV. I'm like, he's literally not dead right now. He's not dead for 3 more decades.
I was literally thinking the same thing. I'm like, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. And when they did the seance-tism thing, and it failed, I was like, oh my God, they're actually going to be consistent because he's not dead. And John walks off, has his little hissy fit, and then he and Mary like
explore his fifis.
His fifis, I love that. Fifi John.
Yeah, they explored John Winchester's fifis, and then his father shows up, even though he's literally not dead for another 30 years. So how does this spell work?
It's magic.
Could you literally summon the spirit for literally anyone? Why don't you couldn't you summon the spirit of Mary and be like, oh, how'd you die? So I can avoid that. Because she's no more dead than this.
Hey! Now you're trying to make them too clever at that point. All right, this is they can only do so much here. It's a CW, for God's sake. I still can't get over Fifi. Oh man!
Yes, John Winchester, the most emotionally constipated character in the entirety of Supernatural. And all he does is talk about his feelings the entire episode.
Oh my God!
I broke my dad's music box because he and Mom would argue, and I would hear my name, and I had to draw it out. But then I was too angry, and I broke it, and now it doesn't work anymore.
It's like cue the violins. Here we go. You done yet? Quit being a bitch.
And my mother, when John when they were talking about the spell, she had me pause it. She goes, they established that they have maybe a couple minutes to talk to Henry, assuming it works. This is before she pick up. She goes, I bet they're going to spend 90% of that time just talking about feelings when they need to worry about saving the world.
Yeah,
Like,
there's only
10 minutes.
There's only a deadline they have to meet, you know. Fuck a deadline, fuck saving the world, because he was, and it's just funny because he was very adamant about that when his
dad.
Oh yeah, when his mom came down to the bunker and she's like, okay, why am I really here? He's like, to save the world. So adamant about it. Yeah, he wants to dick around, before he gets the answers. So yeah. But
I also don't understand. Your shorthand wouldn't change because of the subject of your letter. She says, I was only able to understand his shorthand because I knew the context of the letter.
Right.
Usually, if somebody has a shorthand system, it would be consistent.
Yeah, I was just going to say it'd be pretty consistent. It'd be their MO.
Because that's how they would know how to. They don't have to you know, they don't have to engage a cipher in their own brain that says, okay, if I'm writing a love letter and I say LU, it's love you. It would be like LU would be love you. That's just
No,
like
I do. I
don't
could,
know. It's a very simple example, but I'm like,
I completely understand. I'm kind of thrown. So there's a scene at the end when they are confronting whom they think is the Akrita, the queen, because they established, oh, if we take
yes,
out the queen, everything else will fall as well. You know, like cutting off the head. So
yeah,
they confront her, use the box, and then they realize that, you know, so the box only sucks in one of the MIB roaches. That's what I'm gonna call them. The MIB.
yep.
It only takes in one of the MIB roaches, and then she faints. And then they're like, why are they all coming? And then there's more MI. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, they're like,
We're
oh,
screwed.
yes, they're like, oh, we're shit. She wasn't the queen. And what? So let me ask you this: did John just throw the trap on the ground and run, or did it fall out of his hand? Like, do you remember? Because I was like, are you that incompetent? Were
I
you
think it
fucking
fell out of his.
just?
I'll give him a little bit of credit and say it fell out of his hand.
I really hope it
I
fell
don't
out of his
recall
hand.
specifically, but I will give him enough credit to say he didn't throw it. But
Okay.
how come when John used it, it only absorbed one, but when Superman used it, it acted like a proton pack in Ghostbusters and just
and just kept taking. Yeah, not clearly the plot needed it to only take one of them. I guess I don't know. I bet
or
if go ahead.
why did John stop? It's like, okay, you think this is the queen, but just in case you're wrong, absorb the others too.
Yeah, why not absorb the others? I'm sure if they're smart, they'll come up with the reasoning. But I feel like they're gonna be like, oh, because their creator are so strong, blah blah blah. This thing can only hold there's gonna be some fucking excuse. But then they said that it just transferred you back to their dimension, right? So it's like
it transfers them back to the dimension where they can only hurt themselves or whatever.
Yeah, some stupid thing they came up with. I don't know. It was dumb.
And then they're like, demon possession rules. You know, you can't kill them or whatever. You have to treat them like demon possession rules because these are real people. I'm like, hey, unlike demonic possession, a creative possession, from what we understand, from what you established, it will kill them. Given enough time, it will kill them.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah, it
it's
will.
not gonna. It doesn't just hold in perpetuity.
No, it doesn't.
And B, you clearly don't give a shit about possession rules because I remember in the first episode you ran them down with a microvan.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. I remember that as well. Shit, it's just not adding up. God, it's consistency,
and
man.
John, of course. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And John, of course, totally simps for Mary. It's like, oh no, we're in trouble. So what do? They freaking kiss because of course they do.
Yeah, because it's a great time to kiss when you're about to die, and yeah, lovely time. And then we come to find
it's cute in movies, but if you actually want it to make sense,
yeah. And then we find out that there's a whole queen that they literally wanted to subvert everything. They thought they were smart by doing that too. I'm just like, no one cares. Like no one cares.
It's the first guy. The first guy always dies. Also, I don't remember because it's been a couple weeks. Did they ever establish who the first victim of the Akrita was? Who that chick was running the radio station?
Yes. They did say her name, but I don't. Yeah.
They did? Okay. Because I didn't remember that. So when they were like, oh no, we gotta stop Roxy, I'm like, how do they what meaning does the name Roxy have to them? As far as I'm
Have to
concerned,
them.
it's like we gotta stop a Krita bitch.
Exactly.
So I'm
Exactly.
like, did they establish the newer name? I don't know.
Yeah, I do recall in like the earlier episodes. So I will give them that, but still there's just so much wrong.
Okay,
So much wrong. Yeah. But I mean that's literally the
that's
entire
fair.
episode. We just we just went over there. Were we
It's
missing
feelings and
anything?
bunkers. No, it was literally just feelings and bunkers. Oh no, we have a sense of urgency, except every time when we have a reason to. They literally stopped wax poetic about their feelings when they know they're on a deadline, and they know the deadline is Mary's father's death, and they don't give a shit. So
Welcome to the
weird.
Winchesters, folks. Welcome to the Winchesters. Yeah, what do you rate in this episode, sir?
1. It angered me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to also give
And
it a
the only
1.
point it got, the only reason it got a point was for Tom Welling showing up. Even though I feel bad for his career. Rip Tom
I was gonna
Welling's
say the
career.
same thing. I was gonna say the exact same thing. Tom Welling gets a point, maybe 2. I don't know. Maybe 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad the show is only 1 season long. Thank God I don't have to deal with this for season 2.
Agreed. All right, sir. Well, we thank you guys for tuning in. We do ask that you subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think about the episode, or just in general. Ring that bell for notifications, share this video out there, and have a great day.
Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for listening.